This Tacos Live broadcast is brought to you by PromoJournal, a division of PromoCorner. PromoJournal provides fresh, daily content from industry thought leaders, blogs, videos, product features, and live content all in one convenient location. Weekly advertising opportunities are available. Contact sales at promocorner.com to get your message seen.
Tacos with Jay and Jeff. Oh my God.
Tacos with Jay and Jeff live. I mean, actually live
for real
from
live.
the PPAI EXPO.
I know. And we are so glad that we were able to do this. Thank you to PromoCorner at the PPAI EXPO. It's a big deal.
It's absolutely a big deal. And we have a big deal guest
We
need to introduce.
We do need to introduce it. Rama. I don't want to mess it up, Rama.
We've been practicing it for like 10 minutes.
Berrfas.
Berrfas, yes.
Berrfas. We're best friends. We're best friends. We've known each other for minutes and fast friends. But here, it's really not about me. It's not about Jeff. It's about you and the ideas, the tips, the strategies, anything that we can give those 50 to, I think we're almost up to 60 now.
Well,
listeners.
your mom's bridge club is growing,
But,
so more and
new
more
year. It's
people are going, they're
2022.
hearing about
And
us.
They are. And thanks to PromoCorner and thanks to their audience, we might be peaking at a couple hundred now. So, but really, we do want to say thank you for being here because I know it's not easy. And we want to say thank you again to all of the folks at PromoCorner behind the scenes, and there are many. And look, they brought us gifts.
We got cool
We got
swag
little treats. We got
from
cookies.
KTI.
And in case I get thirsty, I brought this. So, Brandon, you're giving us a look like we may not. We're still live. Okay. So you never know when he gives you that look. But listen, if we're on, right?
We're on.
We're on.
We're on.
You're on
We
no
just
matter
need that
what.
reinforcement, that encouragement, that, that warm feeling that we're on.
Yeah, as everybody knows, it can go south in a hurry with the two of us. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's the thing. Because we're like live at this trade show and we can't find any real tacos anywhere,
Right.
and especially in the morning,
Yeah.
we do have our
We do
portable
have-
tacos here.
We do have some tacos up mini moments, we call them. Tacos up, as you know, has kind of been something fun that we've done from the beginning. Jeff and I got started doing this. It's coming up on 2 years in March, April, if I'm not mistaken. But we are grateful that you're here. We're thrilled to be doing something live. And we've got the perfect topic.
We
Jeff.
do. Yes, let's jump right into that topic.
Guess what? We're talking with an expert who is literally certified, who literally knows more about trade shows than the two of us put together, which isn't hard. But the truth is, important information, tips, strategies, ideas. That's why we're here. That's what we're going to talk about. So, Rama, are you certified? Yes or no?
Yes, I am. So I do have my MAS for the promotional products industry. But in addition to that, I have completed my CTSM, which is the Certified Trade Show Marketer Program, through Exhibitor, which is the magazine to the industry of the trade show.
CTS?
Yeah, it's actually a university-based certification program. And to get it, you have to complete 27 core classes, an additional 5 elective classes. Plus, you have to do what they call a portfolio, which is akin to a master's
I would
thesis.
say sounds like a thesis.
It is. Mine was about 60 pages long,
Woo!
which is about the average for one of these things. It is a lot of investment of time and energy and money. It took a long time.
Do you look back at that like glad it's done, glad it's over?
I am so thrilled that it's over, but you know what? I would not have traded that time for anything. It was exhausting. It was
Rewarding?
It was so rewarding.
Okay.
And this is a space I live in, the trade show world. I love it. I enjoy it. I am so happy that I have made it my niche market. And because I made it my niche market for my company, I have made it my business to learn everything I can so that I can bring that extra value to my clients.
Oh my gosh, extra value?
Yeah,
Are we,
it's what it's
Jeff,
about.
Well,
did you pay her to say that?
no, but as our audience knows, this is what the show is all about, bringing relevant information that they can use to build their business.
Exactly.
Rama has built her business on trade show marketing and is willing to share, a little bit of wisdom and all that training and everything you have. Look, I'm getting a little serious. God. Okay, let's go back to being nutty.
Whoa.
No.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
Jeff
the
getting choked up
The
over this.
PPAI EXPO.
Who
Okay,
knew
all right.
we were going to have a serious sentimental moment? We're going to talk about that right now, kids.
This
live.
is so ADD. Come on, we got.
Okay.
I'm going to bring it back. The ADD guy. I'm going to bring it back to
Bring it
focus.
back. Bring it back.
And I'm going to bring it back because all that hard work and all that studying, all that stuff you're glad behind you leads you to this moment right now on Promo
What I've
Corner
lived
to
for.
share wisdom with our audience and Jay's Bridge Club. All the
Everything.
It's the pinnacle of
Yes.
a career
His
move.
mom.
I can retire happily now.
Oh my
All right,
God.
let's go. Let's
Okay.
get into it.
Okay, so let's talk about, you have the certification.
Talk
Yes.
about it.
You are somebody who has decided to make this part of your niche, which is
Yes.
brilliant. So what could we, let's break it up this way. There are a lot of distributors that are watching, okay? And will be watching. What would you say, are there maybe 1, 2, 3 things, 4 things, whatever comes to mind, what are the things you would suggest for a distributor who might be working with, right? They're working with their audience who are
Right.
going to go to a trade show. 2022, it's not going to be easy. So
No, it's
there's
not
probably
easy.
a lot to manage and any ideas, tips, strategies.
Well, I have what I call my 4 rules for trade show promotional marketing.
4 rules.
Or
And the first thing when I talk to other distributors about this is that the world we live in, when we come to a show like Expo or ASI or any of the regional shows, is that we're not picking up promotional products. We're picking up samples. So our world is very different when we go
Good
to a
point,
show than
good
the
point.
average attendee at a trade show. So that's something you need to remember. So my 4 rules don't really apply to any trade show you might be attending as an attendee, as a distributor,
Gotcha.
okay? So that's the first thing to keep in mind. So my 4 rules for trade show promotional products are, number 1, please keep it light.
Keep it light.
Don't give away something that is heavy.
Oh, as in weight.
Right.
oh yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
light. I thought you meant like keep it light and polite.
You
That's
know
what my
what?
mom always tells
Hey,
me.
I'm all for tying in humor to a promotion, but when it comes to the physicality of it, you don't want something that someone's going to have in their show bag. And we all know all about that, especially this year that they don't
Yes,
have valet
yes,
service
yes.
here, that those bags get heavy at the end of the day. And if someone is sitting down and looking through their bag and saying, you know what, I really don't need this and it's too heavy
Too
and this
heavy.
is what's making my
Space
shoulder
too,
hurt.
right? Is that another one? Am I
Oh,
getting
yeah.
ahead?
You're getting ahead of me.
Don't take away the
Stay in your lane, dude.
stay in your lane, dude. She called you out and you deserve every minute of it. I love
I
it.
do.
So keep it light. You know,
Keep it
keep
light.
in mind
I'm
that
gonna
no
go into
matter-
taco jail.
If your client is asking you for a ceramic mug, keep in mind that every mug, the average weight is 1 pound.
Ooh.
Is that real? Or a bottled water, 16 ounces, that's a pound, people. Is
How
that
much do you
something
think
that they're
this
going to
weighs?
be? Well, once it's filled, it's, but you know.
Good
So
luck
keep
getting
in
water.
mind-
I have water in this. I just want the audience to know.
So
And
keep
that
it-
ceramic mug, by the way, is gonna just be broken
Well,
right,
and that's
after the
number 2.
baggage handle.
That
or-
is number
Oh, is
2.
that number 3? Oh,
Yeah,
good.
you know,
No,
you
no,
get
number
away with
2.
it.
Okay,
Oh, that's number 2.
So light and breakable go hand in hand. So rule number 2 is don't give away something that is easily broken. Because number 1, a lot of those things are heavier
Right.
items too. Glass, ceramic, they're heavy.
Yeah, good
Number
point.
2, they're broken. So what is the first thing you do? You've got your bag with you. You sit down at a table to eat lunch. You get to your hotel room. You get to the restaurant. You drop it on the floor because you're tired of carrying it. What's going to happen to that breakable item inside?
Smashed.
It's going to break.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then do you really want someone reaching into their bag and dealing with broken pieces?
No,
So
you
the
don't.
chances are really good that they're either going to get rid of that whole bag full of stuff, or they're going to reach in to get the critical stuff that they really want. And if they cut themselves, they're really going to remember why they cut themselves and who gave them that idea or that product.
Yeah, that's
so
not
you
good.
don't
So,
want to do
so
that.
number 1, keep it light and polite. Number 2, think about breakables. So Jeff, that totally rules out my glass unicorn collection. So I'm just
Yeah.
letting
That's
you know
right.
now,
Yeah.
we can't have that as a handout or a
But there's
giveaway.
always alternatives. You know, there are, I had a client who wanted to do ceramic mugs. So instead of ceramic mugs, if you're really intent on giving out a mug for whatever reason, do maybe a tin camper mug.
Ah,
It's much
yes, yes,
lighter.
yes.
It's still a mug. It's still got the same shape, same form. If it ties into your messaging, it'll still tie into the messaging, but it's light and it's not breakable. So
Love it.
there's
Great.
always alternatives to the breakable heavy stuff.
And don't you think, you guys, that it would be easier to ship those in too? Like
Oh,
those tin
yeah.
ones are a lot lighter,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah,
And so your
yes, they
shipping
are.
process would be reduced.
Exactly, and that's something when you're exhibiting, you don't realize the cost. And
Oh,
in
I
the exhibiting
realize it.
industry, they call it logistics because it's not shipping, it's logistics.
And that's not
Because-
owned by UPS, nor is the show endorsed or supported by UPS. However, Brown, if you're listening,
There you go. So because there are so many things that go into getting stuff shipped to the show, it is a logistical nightmare, literally. I've been there and done that. So you want to keep it as easy and as least inexpensive as possible for your
Smart,
client. So
smart.
again, breakables, heavy stuff, it's going to cost a lot more to get it to the show, and if they have leftovers, to ship it back. So you don't want to go there.
Ah, the leftovers, like leftover tacos.
Ew.
There's usually not any leftover
Well, where we
tacos.
come from, there's never any leftover tacos because we'll even have, I won't get on to that subject. So that's 1, 2, and 3.
One and two.
1 and 2. So on to number 3.
Number 3 is you want to make sure it's not too bulky. So, and here I've got the perfect example. I spent.
Were you speaking about Jeff and I specifically?
No,
or?
no,
Okay.
no.
Because
I would never try to fit you guys into a suitcase.
Some would say I'm barrel chested, and that's code for husky, which is another
code
word for
fat.
overweight. Sorry, I owned it. I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
All right, so
Okay.
let's get back to the
Back to
space
bulk.
thing.
Okay,
It's
so,
on
so
point.
let me give you an example. I used to work in the
Yes.
hospitality industry.
Okay.
And when I worked at the Sheraton Universal behind the front desk, we had a small conference in the hotel revolving around barbecue items.
Mm.
And one of the sponsors of the show had these beautifully made Stetson hats that were actually, they were room drop gifts.
Gotcha.
So everyone got at least one, if not two, if there were 2 people in the room. These people wore these hats to every event that the conference had, whether they were on location in the hotel or out of the venue and out somewhere else. They wore them everywhere.
Love it.
Then when they checked out, our
Uh-oh.
housekeeping staff had a ton of leftover hats because they couldn't be packed. They weren't going to stick them in the overhead bins, and no one wanted to wear them if they weren't in the group of people.
Right.
No matter
right.
how much
Wasn't
they
a
love
safe
these
space
things.
anymore.
Exactly. And most of these people were corporate types that weren't going to wear them on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
It was fun while it lasted. They were beautifully made. They were branded. These were not inexpensive hats. And this was over 30 years ago, and they were not inexpensive hats. And our housekeeping staff's kids got the joy of them. Front desk clerks got the joy of them. Bellman got the joy of them. And
There were a
and
lot
who
of
else
Halloween costumes that came
Exactly.
out of that promo.
Exactly. All
So-
because it was just something that was too big to fit into a suitcase. And that was before 2000,
Okay.
2001.
So,
So back then, people
It was
didn't necessarily think they would check luggage.
Right,
Nowadays, you have to be careful what you check and what you don't check. You can't take everything on the plane with you anymore. But a lot of people,
good
they
wisdom.
just have that carry-on. So what are you going to do if all they have is a carry-on? So make sure whatever you have is either small enough, portable enough to fit into a small area of a carry-on. If someone has check luggage, great, it'll probably fit in there. But people are minimalists nowadays in what they bring. So make sure it's
Wisdom.
not going to take up too
Words
much
of
space.
wisdom right here. Rama is dropping it hot like it's a boiling taco pot. I'm telling you,
Caliente.
super
Caliente
spicy. So
hot.
that covers
Three.
3.
Three.
We have
Up to 3.
one
All right.
more special ingredient for
Okay,
you
the
guys.
fourth one, which a lot of distributors forget about, make sure it's TSA approved.
Ah, TSA
No,
approved.
nothing that is a weapon, nothing that could be mistaken for a weapon. I have another great example of this. I wish I had the visual.
No
with me.
weapons, but nothing that could be
It can't even
perceived.
look
That
like one.
okay.
When Disneyland and Disney World opened their Galaxy's Edge, which is their Star Wars land,
Yes.
they had Coke create special bottle shapes for them. They were
Mm.
round bottles, and upon first looking at them, they looked a whole lot like hand grenades.
Oh my God.
Now, people would empty the bottles out and put them in their carry-ons as souvenirs because the bottles were so
Sure,
distinctive and different
sure.
and not something you could get anywhere other than
Oh,
in a Galaxy's Edge land at a
boy.
Disney property.
Wow. Yes.
So
Exclusive.
whether they were emptied out and in their carry-on or emptied out or full in their checked luggage, TSA was taking them out because
Can you
they said-
imagine?
it took 2 weeks for Disney to get a hold of TSA and say, look, guys, it's Coke and Sprite and whatever other Coke products it was.
Yeah,
These
yeah,
are not
yeah.
hand grenades.
It's safe for children,
So,
safe for consumption.
Exactly. Just the
No
fact
hand
that it
grenades.
looked like a hand grenade, even in checked luggage, it was not making it through. It was catching on the scanners and people had their
Wow.
luggage being gone through. And these things
That's
were
a good tip.
confiscated.
I don't think I would have thought of that, but other things could be seen as potential hazards or
Exactly.
the TSA folks are pretty specific and pretty
Exactly.
serious about what goes on that plane and
So-
what doesn't go
So
on that.
take a look and make sure that what you are giving them, even the cutlery sets
Yep.
nowadays
Yep.
that are so popular because they're reusable, but they're in their little containers. Some TSA agents will confiscate them if they have a knife.
You know
in
what
them.
came to my mind? Speaking of knives, Jeff, it's hard for us to both say this word, but shark cute charcuterie. So you know the knives that sometimes they have?
Yeah.
You gotta watch out for that kind of stuff
Yeah.
because if you're giving that out here as a trade show item or as a sample,
Exactly.
you could face the wrath of
Exactly.
TSA. They'll take you back to that special room, Jeff, where I know you've been before.
Taco jail.
Taco jail is not fun. It is not what you think, ladies and gentlemen. It is a whole new level. We can't even talk about it. Witness protection program. But I love those 4 items because those are easily overlooked, but yet they're critical. They're important.
They
So
are.
thank you for sharing
And
that.
let me just say one thing.
Yeah, please.
When I was
We have all kinds
researching
of
this,
time.
there is a website that you can go to on the TSA. There's a page on the TSA website that you can go to that'll tell you what is and is not approved because it does
yes.
change constantly. At one
It
point,
gets updated.
you couldn't bring nail clippers on. What the heck you're going to do with nail clippers? I'm not sure, but at one point you could bring nail clippers on. Now you can.
Now you can.
But I will tell you one thing you are allowed to bring on a plane, which is beyond any aspect of my imagination. Deer antlers.
What?
Seriously.
What?
That you can?
I am.
It's
you,
okay.
You can bring those things are sharp and pointy, so I don't understand, and they're big and huge. I don't
Where
know
would
where
you
you
put
would put them.
those?
I guess in the overhead bin.
Okay.
But you are allowed to bring those on the plane, but you cannot bring some pocket knives. I
Let's-
don't understand
Let's
this.
talk about the deer antlers. I
No,
don't
no,
get
let's
it.
talk about some more good trade show tips.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
move past the antlers.
We want to
and-
say this message is brought to you by PETA. Protection.
Yeah, I agree
Okay,
with
come on,
that.
go on. Let's
Okay.
keep it
Anyway,
rolling.
those are my top 4.
Those are awesome. And I think it's fun and funny. So thank you for sharing those because seriously, as consumers, Jeff and I have been on the other side as recipients, whether it's a speaker's gift, whether it's a room
Right.
drop, which you talked about, whether it's an in-booth giveaway. You have to go through and plan for the execution of it. Sorry, I wasn't doing that on the, we got direct
Oh
instructions
my God,
not to bang
execution,
on.
that's like probably a banned word too. You can't even say it on a plane, probably.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Jeff. But, so Jeff, what do you think? What do you think? I've been doing all the talking. You're usually imparting words of wisdom as well. You know, what hits your
Well,
hot button?
okay, so trade shows are going to come back on some level. And I think trade show marketing has to be super effective. And that's why this topic is super important because we move forward. We haven't had trade shows. Everything's been locked down. And I think we're going to come in to what's going to be, shoot me, new normal. There is no new normal.
It
you know?
is just
It's going
It's
to
what
be
we have,
what it's going to be.
2022. Right.
It's going to be an
I like
adapted thing. And so all the more reason why a distributor wants to be a valued service provider to their clients, it moves past just the stuff and understanding about these simple 4 points we've talked about and more that we can touch on as we go forward. But I think a distributor should consider the idea of understanding more about this, again, to offer more to their clients and create additional sales opportunities for themselves. If you haven't thought about trade show marketing and how you can help your clients, do it. Your whole business is kind of based on it, right?
Absolutely. It's probably about 75 to 80% of my business, and because it also varies amongst all different industries.
yes.
With the exception of like COVID or 911, when trade shows kind of shut down for a while, it's almost foolproof because if one industry doesn't do so well at a point in time economically, you still got other industries that you can depend on to bring in the business. So what it really comes down to is understanding of the businesses that you work with and how they can best get their marketing message across through their promotional products. It's not about throwing stuff to people in
Thank
the
you for
aisles
saying
as
that.
they
Thank
walk
you for
by.
saying that.
I say if you want to do that, just take dollar bills and throw them out because they're going to be probably
I
more
would
effective
keep
than just
circling back
throwing
by
stuff
that
out.
booth. They were throwing dollar bills out.
Exactly. You might remember them, you might not, but also throwing pens at someone as they walk by or throwing any just inexpensive item. I am a big proponent of the good, better, best.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Good, better, best.
I'm so glad we're transitioning to that because I'd love to pick your brain a little bit, share with our audience some ideas. I want to tag team on what Jeff said, and then we'll go back to good, better, best. So first of all, I agree with you, Jeff. I do not think trade shows are going to disappear. I know a lot of people have predicted it. This show, there were a lot of people who at the last minute got nervous, had real issues, right? And made tough decisions to not be here. And I get that. I think those that took the bold path forward will be rewarded because they did it safely and they knew that there are hungry attendees that are eager for solutions. Okay, so I do think that we're going to see a path forward. It's going to be a little bumpy, we might have another little dip, but I think we'll come out on the other side.
Well, in my experience, and I did exhibit at a show actually in this building in November, and it was, you could throw a bowling ball down the aisle, and the only person you hit was another exhibitor who happened to poke their head out at the wrong moment. But
Well,
the
you can
truth
see
is,
this. Look at this.
Yeah.
This is busy.
but the truth is that even though it was so slow, I had the best show I've ever
I
had
love that.
exhibiting at that
I
show
love
because
that.
the people who show up are serious about what they do.
They're serious. They're committed.
They're
buyers.
professional. They're not there to tag along. They're not there just because it's a boondoggle to Vegas. They are there at this point in the game because they want to learn. They're there for the professional development aspects of it. They're there to learn about what's new in the industry, what trends are going on, what changes are happening. They're very serious about what they do. If they're taking the time, the effort, the money right now in this situation to show up, you can bet that what they want to do is grow their business, and they want to talk to their vendors who are serious about helping them grow their business.
Okay, we're going to transition to good, better, best,
Okay.
because that's what I promised we would do. And I hope we have a little bit of time at the end, like maybe you could say, you know, or share, all of us, maybe we could share like something that really stood out at a trade show. But I want to say this too. I think if we come back to the trade show with the same mentality, with the same, here's how we've always done it, let's keep doing it the same old, that isn't going to work, right? We need
It's
to,
never worked.
oh,
I'm
did
sorry.
you hear
it's
that? That's a
never
breakthrough
worked.
moment. It never
It's
really
never
worked. Yes, because I feel like we're missing out on the personalization of it. And maybe the pre-show marketing could lead us into that,
Yeah.
where rather than have one thing for the masses, we could be a little bit more thoughtful, pinpoint, targeted, however we want to say that, so that we could say, you know what, I don't need to see 100, I don't need to see a 100 maybes. I need to see 10 big dogs. You know what I'm talking about, Jeff?
Exactly.
I'm talking about,
Big dog.
we want to get flexy. We want to see the people that are going to move the needle.
Yeah.
So does that relate at all to good, better, best? Is that
Absolutely.
okay? Tell us more
Absolutely.
about that then.
So again, I'm a big proponent of good, better, best, or some combination of those three, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 of them in any mix and match format. Personally, I think that if you don't have a big budget, you are better off going with a small number of best to target really your hottest
Brilliant.
prospects. You may spend the same
Did you
amount.
hear that, Mom?
Are you looking for a good Christmas gift
Yeah,
or what?
no, Christmas maybe. It's coming around again once a year.
You are looking at, if you, whether it's one specific person, I had a client who just wanted to target one person at the trade show. That was their entire budget for their promotional products. Was an amazing gift
Heavens. Oh my
for
heavens.
one person, and that was it. Their entire pre-show marketing, at-show marketing was targeted to getting that one person to come by their booth. Anyone else was what I call manna from heaven. Anything else.
It was bonus. It was like a secret spicy salsa on top of that taco.
Exactly.
And then you come in with a little dollop of sour cream.
Exactly.
But you need that salsa. You need to balance that out.
So you really want to understand who your top 20% is and who you want to target at that show. And if at all possible, forget about everyone else who's just walking by trick or treating.
Yes, the adult
Okay.
trick-or-treaters.
Trick or
So
treating.
we'll
Love it.
address that in a moment. But you
Let's
really-
talk about cards.
Oh,
No.
you
Let's-
can't
let's-
at this show, 'cause everyone
Ma
on this
hasn't
show
finished
has a
yet.
card.
Good, better, best. We're
But
getting-
yeah, but what you're
Okay.
looking at, if at all possible, first of all, focus on your top 20%. Who do you want really to target? Your hot market, your hot clients, your hot prospects. That is your best.
Gotcha.
So you're going to do far less in quantity, much bigger.
Higher value,
Yeah. but
perceived value.
higher perceived value. You might
Okay.
not spend a whole lot more, but the perceived value behind it is going to be. So that's your quantity is going to be here, and your perceived value budget is going to be up here. Maybe, it's going to move.
Well, you
like
gotta
that.
find the sweet spot.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, your better is going to be for that, not your top 20%, but probably about the 15 to 20% below that
Gotcha.
of what you consider your target market. And again, there you're going to have kind of more of an even keel budget. So you're talking about probably a greater quantity, but a lower budget point, lower perceived value than what your top category is. So you're really kind of more like balancing in that case.
I love that word too, balancing it out. I'm not a math
Exactly.
major, but I think you're nearly 40%
Well,
of
my
your
husband,
audience.
who's standing over there was a math major, so
Ah,
if you need to
We'll
quantify
coordinate
that with
with
him, you talk to him.
quantum physics and all things
Exactly.
mathematical.
He can help you out with
But are we
all
at
of that.
about 40% with the better and then the
Yeah,
best?
somewhere
Do you have
between
that?
about 35 to 40% of your top. And
If you
then
still have budget, then what
if
do you
you
do?
still have budget, or if you really have, either you feel the need or your boss, usually the boss, feels the need
Boss.
that you must have something for everyone who walks by the booth.
I have a fist bump for everybody that walks by the booth.
There you go.
I have words of wisdom for everybody that walks
Yeah.
by the booth.
So
A big smile, Jeff.
if you must have
A
something
big
just
smile.
in case,
But,
that
oh,
is
but
a
if you wear
good-
a mask, then it doesn't really
Well,
matter.
matter.
I don't even, is it upside down? Did I get this?
So that's your good. And that's going to be your highest quantity, least expensive. Sometimes it really doesn't matter what kind of perceived value it is. It doesn't matter. So at that point, and that might be something you put on the counter if you want the trick-or-treaters to come by and scoop up one or the whole basket full.
No,
That's what you're looking at.
scoopers.
And you're not expecting any kind of ROI from that item necessarily. Your better items, you should be expecting some sort of ROI. You should have measurements in place. A way to,
Oh, ding, ding, ding,
way
ding,
to have
ding. Did you
measurements
hear
for
that?
it.
Let's talk about that.
Well, your
Let's-
best and for your
let's
best. for
quickly
sure.
Let's
talk about
talk
that, yes.
about how do we measure? We're coming in on about a 25-minute mark. We might have 10 or 15 left. I don't want to rush you guys because I know words of wisdom, Jeff. It's not about us. I don't know if you know this, but
All right, so,
Drop it.
all right, so
about
let's,
So let's go there. That's really what I was going to ask you, Jeff. How important is measurement? How important are the call to actions? Because if we're just going to blow through marketing dough, we should just keep it,
all
right?
the companies want to know that
You know
tangible
what I say when
ROI.
when I'm doing a presentation on anything marketing related, one of the first things I usually say is that if you don't have metrics in place, if you don't have a way to measure what your marketing is doing for you, take however amount of money it is, 1 penny, 100 pennies, $1,000, whatever it is, put it in your pocket because you're going to need it when you go back.
Share it with your staff. You know, if you're going to just give away random acts of swag, right? I say be
Don't.
way more specific and don't even do that. I would reward your staff for all the hard work they do before I would give away crap.
Well,
to
and that's
strangers.
something that I recommend
Sorry.
to my clients.
Can I say
too.
that? Is that too bold?
I recommend that to all my clients, is that especially when you're doing the better best, at least in that better category, remember your staff, remember all the people that worked hard to make your exhibit a success. Reward them for it.
Yes.
Include them in, especially in that better category.
I love it. I love it. So let's get back to measurables. What are some tactics where we might have a call to action where maybe, I mean,
Easy.
whatever you want to say. I mean, I have no idea where you're going with this.
It's all very different depending on the company, depending on what their goals are,
Give
depending
us
on what
one
they're doing.
example, maybe.
Well, what I'll tell you is this. When you're doing, especially with a good, better, best, but anytime you're doing a better and a best, they should never be out for people to just help themselves. So the first thing you have to do, whether it's in someone's bag that they have on them during the show,
Oh,
in their
wait.
back pocket, if it's something
Is it
small,
something
a
special
box
that might be
under
underneath?
if it's something under the counter or back in your locked cabinet, whatever, there you go.
This,
Whatever.
ladies and gentlemen. Take 455, Tacos with Jay and Jeff.
There you go.
I think our producer's going,
I don't know what all these hand gestures mean. I only know what the middle finger means, and he hasn't given us that yet. Either we're playing baseball or something else. But let's
Or
get back to
something
the
else.
star of the show.
So-
Not me, not you, Jeff.
So anyway, so the metrics are all about whatever you have decided is your qualifying factor. That could be something as simple as getting your badge scanned, which is actually not something I recommend as a
We need
qualifying
a
factor.
wow, let's climb that
But for
ladder.
some
So
companies, that's enough.
that's the bottom, right?
That's
So
the
where
very
do
bottom.
we climb up from that?
So maybe spending 2 minutes with someone talking to them, enough so that you get the information that you need, whether it's in a lead retrieval application or a piece of paper that you're
A
taking notes
note.
on. Yeah.
Do you recommend that maybe there's a I don't know if it's a software. I don't know if it would be an iPad or something that we
No,
can
at a show,
qualify with.
at a show, you can do all the qualifications through the show's lead retrieval
Okay.
systems, because most of them, I have yet to encounter one that is not able to be customized with questions that you want to ask,
that.
with categories that you want to ask. So that should all be available to you in your lead retrieval system. And if not, you print up a questionnaire ahead of time, you bring out the clipboards, and you start checking off and
Listen,
writing in things, whatever works for you.
If I were still a distributor in this business, those would be the things I would be working with my customers
Absolutely.
ahead of
Absolutely.
time and say, what are we trying to measure? What are we
Absolutely.
trying to capture? working backwards from that, then we could probably select something in the good or the better.
Yeah,
or
and
the
something that
best.
would tie into the messaging. I mean, really, that's the goal. If you can tie into the branding, the messaging, the theming, whether it's the theme of the show, the theme of your booth, whatever new item or new product, whatever it is that you're trying to showcase, that's where the real heavy hitting comes, is when you can tie everything together so that you've got a holistic marketing plan going, and the item that you're giving out ties into the branding on your back wall. It ties into whatever else is going on in your booth.
Tacos.
This
Really?
is some sweet tech right here.
Yeah,
by the
I
way.
no
know.
kidding.
I'm like digging it.
I'm not-
I always can use
I don't know
it.
if you know this, Jeff, but I have
Cool.
2, and I think one of them was yours.
Your lead invitation could be something. where
Thank you, KPI.
Sit in the booth or go to another location and sit through a presentation.
Right.
It could be go
qualifier.
through the maze
Love that.
of our booth before you started this end, you ended that end. At that end, you get something. It could be something that ties into a pre-show marketing campaign that you've done, so that
Brilliant.
you know that if
Brilliant.
you've done something, all you have to do, for instance, for me, when I exhibit at this one trade show that I do every year, I send out a pre-show marketer, which is usually a bulky piece,
Mhm.
because I'm not your
Lumpy, we
average.
like lumpy
Yeah, I
mail,
like my lumpy
bulky.
mail,
There we go again
which
with bulky.
already sets me apart from
Lumpy
every other exhibitor at that show. And there's always the promise of some premium gift if in advance of the show, you set a show floor meeting with me, a 10-minute meeting on the show floor with me, you will get some sort of a premium gift. And if at all possible, I try to make it personalized and have it available to you at
Ding,
the
ding,
show.
ding, ding, ding.
Now that causes complications with
it's tough.
deadlines and stuff like that, especially
Personalization.
now.
But you could do a follow-up too that
You
could be
can absolutely- And then
personalized. So
that's your post-show follow-up. That's another touch point for you. So there's all sorts of different ways to work it depending on what your goals are, what it is that you want to see happen out of the show. I mean, you should have pre-show goals, at-show goals, post-show goals.
break that down again for us.
Pre-show goals, at-show
At the
goals,
show goal,
and post-show goals.
follow-up call to action,
And let me tell you
post-show.
that when they say that 80% of leads on trade show floors are not followed up on, they are not kidding. And I can tell
True,
you from my
folks.
personal experience on this floor, the last time they had a show, no, 2 years ago, 2019,
2019.
I had 5 clients who were specifically looking for items that I knew when I was on the show floor. I asked for 5 samples to be sent to me to account for those 5 items that they wanted. I got
And?
one.
Oh my heavens.
20%, that's literally a 20% follow-up. There's no
That's a fail.
ins, ands, or,
That's a fail.
it's a total fail on the part of every supplier who did not follow up with me and send a sample. They
Don't
made me
shame them.
work
Don't
harder.
shame them.
I couldn't even tell you who they were at this
Okay.
point.
Okay. They were so memorable, you don't even remember.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
There's a lesson there.
But they lost business as a
Well,
result.
for sure they did, because you
So-
moved on, you found something
Exactly.
else, man.
Exactly.
Listen, if you're a distributor and you're exhibiting, same applies. If you're a distributor and your clients are exhibiting, same rules apply. That's why I love this topic. Jeff, why are you so quiet over there? Are you eating
Well,
tacos
no,
without me?
because there's just
He's in awe.
so
He's in awe.
much content
Let it
pouring
land.
out. I mean,
He's like letting it land.
no, I'm letting it land. But you know, as we kind of wrap it up, I mean, I have a little story too. I think you know, it was an article I wrote some time ago. Like, I won a chip clip and invested $100,000. And it was at one of these little community expos where they have the wheel
Yes.
spinning, and it was a financial services investment firm. You know, I spin the wheel and I won a chip clip. And so it's like has nothing to do with the business. There's no redeeming value. Of course, now we consider that like uncool to give out just as plastic, whatever. But it had nothing to do with the business. It was
No
not relevant,
theme.
no theme, you know, nothing like that. And I think like, oh yeah, I'm going, hey, I just inherited $100,000. I'm going to go invest with you because I was at the
Because I got this amazing.
I
chip
trust
clip.
you with all
Folks,
my money.
It will hold your taco bag of
Well,
burritos.
yeah, did they qualify you before they let you spin the wheel even?
No,
And
of
you
course
would've
not.
had the best
Like they
thing
could
on
know,
the
like they
wheel,
would
and
know
it
I'm
would be-
broke. Okay.
Exactly. So you would have won the best thing on that wheel, which let's say was an iPad, which I'm not a fan of, but I've still won 2 of them and I've sold them. So there you go too. I mean,
So you got the iPad, but then what?
you know,
They
so
didn't even
what?
qualify you,
Right.
right?
So I'm just bringing. So look, I'm bringing stuff here at the end. You know, just more for thought. Think about the product's theming to what your marketing and branding messages is so critical.
And if
And
it
it's
was
tough.
financial, right? You were at a it would be something. I mean, a chip clip. Just I don't. I don't get it. Like I'm like waiting for the punch.
Yeah. Well, the punchline is I want a chick that invested $100,000. It's a great joke,
It
you
actually
know.
would have made more sense if there was a show in Vegas for them to give you a casino chip.
There you
Rather
go.
than a chip up and say, look, you can take this chip and go out and gamble it, probably.
And then you
lose
can
it,
earn a
you
bunch
can
of
turn
money.
it back in and start investing it
And
with
we
us.
will double down on our
Exactly.
customer
There's so many
service and on the
ways.
value.
Yep.
And we have a suite up at the Mandalay, and we're gonna hang out, have some beverages, get to know you, and have that relationship
So-
start to build.
There you
Start
go.
looking at
right?
twisting the words and I'm a big fan. I'm a language person. I'm multilingual. I'm really big into languages and how you use your words. And I think when you can tie your words, especially in that funny way, because people respond so well to humor,
To wit.
exactly.
Yeah.
They just think it's cool. So if you can tie your item into a messaging, into whatever it is that you need to do, into the company name, into whatever it is that you want them to do, that's when you're going to start capturing them and create. This is a trademark term, so no one out there is allowed to
It
use
is?
it.
It
Yes,
is?
it is. It's
Oh,
my trademark
Hold on,
term.
ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Let's get this
What we do
right.
at my company is what we call trademark creating strategic memorability. So you can't use the term, but you
Can't
can
use
use the
that.
concept.
Rama's already trademarked it.
That's right.
Lawyers are standing by right now.
I've got
So
them on.
don't-
I've got the most detailed rating.
Don't even go there. Don't even think
But
about
the
going there.
concept applies no matter who you are. You can take the concept and run with it.
Memorabilia.
But it's talking about
Memorability.
strategic memorability. It's not about,
Memorability.
it's not, it's like
Got it.
you might remember something, but if you cannot connect it to why you remember it,
Yeah.
if you cannot connect it back to the company, if there's 5 other, it's like when people say, what's the hottest, newest, coolest, trendiest thing? And I say, that's the last thing you might want to consider.
Right.
Because depending on the size of the show floor, you might have 300 to 300 other people on the show floor giving out the same darn thing. So if you want to do the coolest, hottest, trendiest, whatever you want to call it thing, at least let's find a new spin on it.
Find a
Something that
new
makes it
application.
different.
I love what you said about the new word. Find a new, what I like to, well, this is what the whole taco show ended up being. People know me for tacos. I do know why, but it's a hook. It's the anchor. It's the memorable moment.
It's our
that
marketing
experience
brand.
was. So for us in branding, we need that. So here, I'm going to demonstrate. Jeff, you hold this side.
Hey, he took
Rama,
mine.
you look,
He stole
you
another
hold
one.
that. And so check it out. We're connecting. We're connected, and we need more power. So we have experts. that
And
are
we're on PromoCorner,
So all
and
you
we're
have to do is
supporting the PC brand.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Remember
And
that?
I've got my
Hello,
wires
hello.
crossed.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Listen, let's put
Okay, look, we got
let's put
to
the silliness
let's
away.
pull the plug. We're pulling the
We're
plug
wrapping
right
this
now.
up. Hey, look, we got fans. Oh my gosh. people are-
Yes, we're pulling the
Hey.
plug.
Okay,
We
we're all
got to
done.
see you.
We're all done. So let's
All
wrap
right, we're
this up.
done.
Brandon,
Yes.
have we had anybody watch? Is there anybody that, okay. So thank goodness, because we
Well,
put
hello,
all this
everybody.
work into having you here. We're so grateful for your time,
My
your
pleasure.
energy, your tips, the wisdom that you shared. Trade shows are a big deal. Marketing dollars are real and finite.
Yes,
So
they
we
are.
don't want to mess with that. I loved your good, better, best examples. Thank you for the top 4 that you gave us. Those were wicked spicy good. And Jeff, I'm going to kick it over to you to take us home, brother.
We're probably not going to have these, are we? Because we want really real tacos. I mean, we had to have the portable
We had to have
tacos as a prop,
walking
but
tacos,
they don't
portable tacos.
Yeah, well,
Mine with me.
You
maybe
can have
later.
2. Take 2.
Okay.
yeah, take 3.
There's a handsome gentleman
Hey.
on the couch that keeps giving you a look. I don't know what that's all about.
Okay, I'm just
We
going
are
to.
in
That's my
Vegas.
husband of 30 years.
We are in Vegas. Congratulations, by
Thank
the
you.
way.
Well, actually, almost 31. I don't know what year is it. 32. What the heck year are we in anymore? I don't-
Jeff,
32 years
Okay,
in
we're
March.
we're doing this. I don't even, is it stretch or is it wrap up or what?
You're on a
Oh,
roll.
We're on a roll.
Okay,
Oh,
we're
we're on
done.
a roll.
Okay, hey, thanks everybody for hanging with us and watching it and grabbing a few tidbits that you can use to build your business. That's what it's all about. We have a good time doing it. We go way ADD. We're live. There's massive people around. I mean, it's like
For me.
unbelievable.
What is
Just
going on?
nobody
Is that
can
Dale
really
over
see
there? Hey, Dale, what's
that.
Woo! PPAI 2022. All right.
So that's it. Tacos out.
Tacos up. Tacos
Tacos
out.
Tacos
Thanks,
up.
Rama.
Tacos up.
Special
Please.
guest. Thanks, Promo Corner. Woo! Boy, am I
Oh, God.
thirsty.
Oh,